My name is Daphne King. In this video, I will be discussing the safe, legal, and ethical use of digital information and technology. Why do you think this topic is important? Have you ever thought about the importance of technology in schools? What about the number of technological tools that children are using today and the amount of time they spend using these tools? As we can see, with the growing digital world of the 21st century, the implementation of technology and the use of digital devices in the classroom have become a top priority of the curriculum in schools. On the other hand, children use a variety of technological tools on a daily basis. These tools range from the smartboard, iPads, iPhones, smartphones, notebooks, cell phones, Kindle tablets, and much more. Research has shown that 99% or practically all public schools in the United States have internet access. At the same time, children spend a considerable amount of time using a number of digital devices that give them access to online information. Further studies point out that about 80% of children ages 0 to 5 use the internet weekly. Then over 21 million children ages 12 to 17 use the internet. And out of this 21 million, 16 million use it at school. There is no need to overreact or become fearful about this scenario. What we need to do is ask ourselves this question: what can we do to encourage the safe, legal, and ethical use of digital information and technology? But first, we have to understand what these words mean. Let us look at the safe aspect. According to the Webster Online Dictionary, safe means not able or likely to be hurt or harmed in any way, or not in danger. As children use technology, it is likely that they could be put at risk. These risks may involve falling prey to predators or cyber stalkers, identity theft, exposure to inappropriate materials like pornography, sexting, cyberbullying, cyber harassment, and threat of security such as scams and viruses. Some of these risks, however, do not occur as often as most adults believe. Cyberbullying, cyber harassment, and exposure to inappropriate materials were identified as the most urgent risks that children face as they use online information. What parents can do? Parents need to educate themselves about online safety in order to guide their children. They should keep abreast with internet safety rules, monitor the use of the computer and other digital devices, be aware of what the children see and hear on the internet, and know who they are communicating with. A number of websites provide valuable information that parents can use for this purpose. A website that I would recommend is one that is provided by the U.S. Department of Justice. It provides a parent's guide to internet safety, which is very extensive. It points out signs that show if children are at risk, what parents can do if they suspect their children are communicating with online predators, what parents can do to minimize the chances of online danger. Also, helpful definitions and answers to frequently asked questions relating to online safety can be found on this website. What schools can do? Schools need to offer workshops for teachers and parents in relation to online safety, educate students about the safe use of technology, and policies, guidelines, and rules must be put in place to protect students as they learn in a digital environment. Studies have shown that most school policies restrict the use of materials that provide obscenity, and software materials are also filtered to prevent students from getting hold of unwholesome materials. What do you think about this quote? We want our children to KNOW, safety, so that they will have NO, pain. We will now look at the second factor that is also important for student success in the digital learning environment. And this is the legal use of the digital information and technology. The Webster Online Dictionary defines legal as of or relating to the law. On a regular basis, students rely on digital or online resources to support their learning in the form of research, projects, reinforcement of skills, homework, and other assignments. It is therefore important for students to be aware of the legal issues relating to the use of online resources, which will help to prevent them from being caught in the illegal use of materials. There are three main areas that we need to focus on in relation to the legal use of digital materials: copyright laws, fair use, and plagiarism. Copyright laws were designed to help protect the original work of individuals from being used without permission. Fair use laws, on the other hand, were created to allow the use of a limited amount of copyrighted materials without permission from the owner. In other words, using copyrighted materials is legal once the fair use doctrine is practiced. To determine whether a use is fair, we need to consider four factors: the purpose of the use of the material, including whether such use is of commercial nature or is for non-profit educational purposes, the nature of the copyrighted work, the amount of copyrighted work to be used, and the effect of the use of the work upon the market. In terms of plagiarism, work should never be copied or paraphrased without giving credit to the author. What can we do to encourage the legal use of resources? What parents can do? Parents should keep abreast with copyright laws, fair use, and plagiarism, and reinforce what students have learned at school about legal practices. What schools can do? Schools should instruct students about the legal use of resources on a regular basis. Design research projects that will encourage high-level thinking, which will decrease the temptation to plagiarize. Create classroom copyright and safe use policies. Create plagiarism guidelines that are appropriate for the different age levels of students, and provide newsletters for parents about copyright laws, fair use, and plagiarism. The last factor we will look at is the ethical use of digital information and technology. Ethical is defined as following accepted rules of behavior and also morally right and good. Therefore, online ethics will help to determine right from wrong behavior and what is acceptable in the online world. Issues with technology ethics range from protecting one's privacy, respecting the privacy of others, respecting the property of others, protecting one's own property, appropriate use of resources, and netiquette. In respect to online learning, studies have shown that students at the elementary level are capable of learning to evaluate the consequences of their actions. When students are aware of the meaning of online ethics, it will help them to use online resources more responsibly. Again, what can we do to encourage the ethical use of digital information and technology? What can parents do? Parents should familiarize themselves with school policies relating to ethical use of technology, review the guidelines and rules with their children, and encourage them to put the rules into practice. What can schools do? Schools, on the other hand, should provide acceptable use policies, guidelines, and rules for teachers, students, and parents. Introduce online ethics to students from the onset of online learning, create website guidelines, model online ethics, and assess students' understanding of ethical concepts. In conclusion, I must state that in spite of the much publicized challenges that the use of digital information and technology reportedly pose to young learners, once students are instructed and guided to use the resources in the right manner, learning in a digital classroom will outweigh the risks that are associated with the safe, legal, and ethical use of digital information and technology. Research has shown that when students use technological tools, they become more engaged in constructing their own knowledge to the point that they are not even conscious that learning is taking place. Let us all do our part so that students can reach their fullest potential and become successful learners. We can make a difference.